Hey everyone, welcome to another process video. I'm Jenny and this is the layout that I'm going to be making today. I hope that you enjoy it and let's get started. So as you can see, I have some strips of paper. So what I'm doing, I'm starting first of all with a bit of a photo mat. So I'm actually doing lots of layers and I'm just showing you how you can put them all together and how I did it this time around. So I'm using a 6x6 paper pad from Create Paper. So this is the confetti line, and all I've done is I've grabbed about 5 or 6 different patterns of paper and I've cut them either in 1-inch strips, 1.5-inch strips or 2-inch strips, just to give it a little bit of variation in size. And you can see that all I'm doing is actually sticking little bits and pieces on. So my plan for this photo mat is that it's not all, the papers behind are not all even. So I'm not wanting to just add a photo onto a square piece of paper, trim it down, add another photo, trim that down, add another photo. Add that same photo again, trim it down. That's not what I'm wanting to do. So I'm actually wanting to have some uneven edges. I don't want it to all be square. So this is how to do it. I know that some people get really intimidated by adding layers like this. They're not sure how to do them. But seriously, as you can see by what I'm doing, there's not much science behind it. So if I'm wanting to have a long strip like you just saw me do then, instead of wasting the piece in the middle, I will actually just cut a smaller piece off. Like that one I'm sticking down now, I just cut a smaller piece off and then I can add the same pattern paper to the bottom, and then I still have that section that would have been covered in the middle. Now that's perfectly fine if you would like to use the whole strip underneath there. It's your paper, you do what you want with it. For me, I love to be frugal and I love to, just stretch my supplies as far as they can go. So that's what I have decided to do. Now you saw me get rid of the brown mat that I was actually working with. So, I'm going to add some wet glue as well because I got sick of using the double-sided tape and picking off the lining off the back. But what I realized was that I had something from another project stuck on that mat, and it actually went onto the photo. So I tried to wipe it off, but it didn't come off, but it's not too noticeable, so I'm happy just to go with that. So you can see that I'm just, building up, and, I'm not even being careful to match all the patterns from one side to another. I'm just, putting the pieces of paper where I think that they will fit nicely and trimming some down a little bit before I add some more. So like I said, it can be very intimidating for some people, but I would say, the best tip that I would have for practicing layering pieces of paper is actually to just work with the one collection. So like I said, all these pieces of paper are from the Create Paper Confetti collection, and so all of them coordinate together. Someone has done all of the hard work of designing and making sure that they go together and coordinate, and all I have to do is stick them together. So simple as and easy as. So you can do it. So you can see there that I've got my sort of a square shape, but it's not really. It's all jutted out a little bit. And so now I'm actually just sticking a piece of foam on the back. So I got this foam from a shop here called Spotlight, which our Aussies would know about. And this foam, I think there were 6 pieces of foam, A4 size, for $3 on the clearance. So it doesn't matter what colours they are. They're all bright and leery colours. It's cheaper to do it this way than it actually is to buy double-sided tape, which we can't get here, those big rolls. And, I can just add a big square on the back. And thankfully it's not really high foam, so it just gives a nice little lift and just, makes it more cost effective. So what I'm doing here is I've got this technique that I got from, and I'm just going to have a look on my phone, and I'm going to butcher her name probably, but I think her name is Terry Koskinen. You can search for her on YouTube, and she does this beautiful watercolor sort of technique. So what I did was I started with just plain water and a paintbrush, and I splashed water all over the page and actually got the page quite wet. And then I got, and in my case, it was Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels, called Mel's Diner was the colour. And I just flicked that over the page, and some of the pieces, some of the splats went onto the water and some just went onto the page. So this is a page that hasn't been gessoed, it hasn't had anything added to it, it's just cardstock. So all I did was splash water and use the end of the bottle like I'm doing now and flick some colour onto the page. And then I've gone into my little watercolour set there, and I'm just adding some different colours to the page. So I'm sort of keeping the background with pink tones and a little bit of neutral sort of flesh tones as well. So when I flick it onto the page, if it lands in the water, it will actually spread and wick out. And if I actually touch the paintbrush onto the water, I can actually make it spread as well. So it's a similar technique to like the look to the plastic packaging technique, but you actually get smaller smudges of colour, if I could call them, and you can actually build up and have some more intensified colour spots as well. So all I did was I had my roll of paper towel and I rolled that over the top to get some of the excess off, and you saw me use the heat tool. And what I did was I heated the front of the paper and I also heated the back of the paper, and that just stops it from buckling. So I was really surprised that the paper hardly buckled. I'm not using a lot of water, but you know, in some parts I am. But I guess the water doesn't sit there for that long before I come in with the paper towel and mop it up. So by mopping it up, I'm actually getting some different shades of colour. So you can see it start to build up, and I get some deeper pinks and I get some lighter pinks. I go back and add some of this colour. I'm actually touching it to the page now. Where I'm touching it to pools of water and trying to, you know, just encourage those to spread. So it was fun playing with this technique. It was something new for me, and I really enjoyed it. And you know, you could just keep building up, adding lots of layers of colour, and you know, just seeing how you like it and seeing you know, what parts you like the best, whether you like the deep bits of colour or the lighter bits of colour. So because it was the Glimmer Mist, it's got beautiful shine in it. It's like the Heidi Swap colour shine, where it has that beautiful, you know, sparkly colours into it. So now I'm pretty much happy with the way the background's looking, but I want to add some stamping as well, which she has done in her layouts. And so I've got this stamp from Kaisercraft, and it's got some beautiful little flowers on it, some love hearts, and so I'm just using those. So that first colour was Worn Lipstick in Distress ink, and this little one here, I think I've packed it away. No, hang on, here it is. It's a Prima chalk ink called Vintage Pink, and then I use a distress ink called Spun Sugar, which is a really, really light ink. So I think I'm using that now, yep. And just adding a little couple of hearts to the page. And then I pull out my VersaFine ink because I know that I'm not going to add any more water onto the page at this point. So I can add some black in a non-permanent ink, and I know that it's not going to move because I'm not adding any water on top. If you are going to add more water on top, you wouldn't use this ink because it will bleed and run on your page. So this is the Onyx Black in the VersaFine. So just adding a few little touches of black in there because the little pup's face has got black in it. And so I'm just wanting to bring some of that out. Now, here we go. doing this circle. So this is another YouTube lady that I watch, and her name is Rika Coverson, and it's Rika with a double I and a double K, and I did not like that one at all. So as you can see, I'm rubbing it out. So, you know, I thought that I might like to give it a try, but once I did the circle with the pencil, I was like, oh no, I have wrecked my page. But, you know, there is no wrecking. You know, I pulled out a rubber and, you know, rubbed it all away, and you can't tell. So it is cool. I am happy with that, and at least I gave it a shot and gave myself a thumbs up there, and I'm happy to keep going. So I haven't stuck anything down yet because I'm still just playing, seeing where things are going to go. And I've got these beautiful cork hearts, and can't remember who they were from. I think they were in a hip kit that I had. And so I'm using those. I've got that I love you. I've popped it up on some foam tape, and that was from the Kaiser Craft stamp as well. So I've just stamped that out on paper and cut around it. And I've got my enamel flare that I made, and so I just popped some paper out with a 1-inch round circle punch out of the crepe paper 6x6 confetti pad, and just grabbed one that had some words on it that I really wanted. And that's pretty much my embellishments. So I'm sticking everything down now. Those cork hearts were just a beautiful little, because there was some craft sort of colours in this paper, so that just brought those colours of brown out a little bit without it being overpowering, because it's not necessarily a colour that I love to use, but I really just liked the different texture it added and just giving a little bit of dimension to the page. So just sticking that down, and then I flip it over and that falls off, so I stick it back down again, and I undo that pink foam on the back, or undo the tape on it I should say, and I'm happy to stick that down if I can get it down right. There we go. So it's stuck down now. It's not going to move, well and truly there, and I'm just sticking now all the little bits and pieces down. So this is a photo of my friend's little girl. Her name is Matilda, and she has just turned 5, and she is a beautiful little darling. So I asked my friend if I could steal some of her photos off Facebook, and she obliged and said yes, of course I could. And so I'm able to use some of her photos. So you will see a few of Matilda and her family and her little brother as well in future layouts, because, you know, they're gorgeous kids and I love them dearly, and they are very photogenic, so nice to do some layouts with them. Alright, so back to the layout. I've just cut a piece of paper, so the middle out of this piece from L Studio, and I've matted this white cardstock onto that pink paper with the little white plus symbols, and I'm looking at it thinking, what else can I do? I've decided that I'm going to ruffle up the edges, which I normally do when I do cardstock, so I just use my fingernail. I haven't had a paper cut yet. I'm sure that I will one day, but you know, I don't mind because it's easier and I get the effect that I want rather than using a bone folder. So now I've just pulled out these Kaiser Craft gems, and I'm adding a few to the page, and I'm having a look thinking, what else can I do to it? I'm pretty happy with it. I've, you know, got the background looking pretty colourful, but there's still some white space left in it as well, so I'm quite happy with that. And I decided to pull out some of these little word stickers, and I think they're from Studio Calico, and that one says Sweetie Pie, and that one says My Sun and Stars, and the one that I choose for the top says Honey Bun. So I thought they were really cute, and I don't know that I would use them anywhere else apart from on a layout for a little girl, which is really cute. So I've grabbed my Heidi Swap Colour Shine in gold, and I'm putting that on. So I have not been able to get my gold to work properly, and I've seen that people have just said shake it really, really hard for a long time, and I did, and it actually worked. So I was really happy with that. So that's the end of my process video. So I've got some photos here, as you can see. So I thank you for stopping by, and I hope that you've liked this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!